Yeah, so I was walking down the street. I was about 6 years old, walking down Delancey Street in Manhattan, lagging behind my 9-year old brother. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like we were 6 and 9. We were with his best friend, who was also like my brother, Alfonso. And I saw up ahead of me a drunk guy. I'm going to call him unhoused, which is different than homeless, right? Because there are many homeless people and they're not necessarily drunkards. But this guy was definitely drunk and he was arguing with, I'm going to call her his wife, who was also drunk. No big deal. Lots of arguing going around. I had arguing in my house, not not even thinking about it, right? So I'm walking, I get right up on top of him and he starts screaming at who I'm calling his wife, who was also drunk. And so I look up at him because he's now screaming, and he looks down at me and he starts screaming at me. Like, I did something to disrupt your drunken day, right? And so I took a step back, but not far enough, because before I knew it, the guy hauled off and punched me in the face, right? Like, gone, done, on the ground, wailing my head off. And my brother was going to kill this guy, right? They're holding him back. No, 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 no. He's drunk. He's drunk. You know, yeah, my brother was mad, and rightfully so. I'm a baby on the ground. So he picks me up and he dusts me off. Are you okay? Are you okay? And his wife, his drunk wife, who had the sense to know you don't punch babies in the face, starts yelling at him in Spanish, And then he looks at me. He's like, "Oh, sorry, sorry." No, no, there's no sorry, sorry. There's no. Mm-mm, mm-mm. I am swollen like a New York blimp. Like, no, there's no sorry, sorry. Okay, so I'm hurt, bleeding, taking me home, patch me up. Terrible, traumatizing event. Fast forward about 200 years or so when I have my son. And every time I see a person that reminds me of that situation, a drunk guy that looks like, that, I cross the street, but I don't realize that I'm doing it. It's just instinctual now, right? I'm on survival mode over here. Until one day, my son is like 4 years old and he starts pulling on my leg. Mom, 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 let's cross the street. Let's cross the street. So I'm looking around. Where's the gun? And he says, there's a bum. Okay. First of all, we're not allowed to call them that, right? Uh, we don't use that vernacular. We use that vernacular when I was a kid, but we don't say that kind of stuff anymore. That's first. Second of all, I said this is mom's bad. Like, mom should not have taught you that there's something to be afraid of, because he's not the one that got punched in the face, right? So I was like, no, we're safe. We're okay. He's not going to do anything he's not going to do anything to us. He's not even thinking about us, right? So we're going towards this guy. My heart is hammering because I am actually afraid. But we pass him with no event. And I learned a valuable lesson there, right? I have transferred my fears onto my children. And I have to say, over the years, I would love to say that taught me a valuable lesson. And I never did that again. Yeah, I did that with all three of them. They all have all my fears, unfortunately. However, that's why we make emotion stickers now, right? Because we got so many of these little people walking around with fears and anxieties that are not even their own. So, the moral of the story is, if you see your child behaving in a way that is contrary to what you know their experience is, maybe you can step back and think, like, okay, where did this come from? Because they're not the ones that got punched in the face.